Live. Get you caught up with the latest details. Of course, meteorologist Davion Huggins here. It is right around 8:30 here on this Saturday evening, and we do have a severe thunderstorm, unfortunately, for our area. So let's get you caught up right to Mega Doppler, wasting absolutely no time. So let me know where you guys are watching from. I know a lot of people are out and about with the Jelly Roll and Post Malone concert that has been delayed because of frequent lightning. And now we're, of course, as we start our stream, we're going to bring up Mega Doppler here very quickly, get you the latest details because we do have a severe thunderstorm warning, and this is mainly for Adair County. However, it does clip portions of Washington County as well. Very short-lived. The reason because of this is because a mesonet gusted to 63 miles per hour, which does mean severe weather criteria, or does meet severe thunderstorm criteria, I should say. So that's why we do have that warning that has been put in place for portions of Adair County. We're also starting to see a little bit of hail with some of these cells as well. And this has been the name of the game. We knew this would happen. We're starting to see additional storms fire off in the River Valley as well. Some of those could briefly pulse up to severe limits. So this is the name of the game over the next several hours. Now, they will be recording. I want to bring your attention to this very quickly. They will be recording a newscast in the studio over the next starting in the next couple of minutes, I should say. So there may be times where I have to talk a little quiet, but I'm going to walk you guys through the radar. I know a lot of people watching from Silent Springs, Fort Smith, Fayetteville, everywhere across Northwest Arkansas. So I'm going to walk you through the stream. Again, so the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for right now has about a 15-minute tag on it for now, and it's mainly for Adair County as well as very extremely western Washington County. You can see the warning box right there on your screen. I'm going to take my camera off here very quickly just to continue to walk you guys through what's going on as well. And we'll continue to, like I said, I'll continue to monitor the radar. Again, I want to let you guys know there will be recording a newscast in studio here in the next couple of minutes. Now, this will be the Fox show for later on tonight. I will not be in this newscast because you cannot record a newscast and have severe weather going on at the same time. It's just kind of hard to do because you need to warn the people. So that's something that I'll continue to monitor here. But again, if there's times where I'm talking a little quieter, that's going to be the reason why. But again, I'm going to continue to monitor the radar for you guys and track the severe thunderstorms as well as the other storms as they continue to fire off along and south of I-40 as well. So I'm going to take the camera off here. Going to be a lot of radar and a lot of Mega Doppler, but just bear with me as we continue to monitor these next couple of scenes. So there's Mega Doppler showing you that, switching over to Mega Doppler scenes on my stream deck so I can get you caught up with the latest details of what we're seeing right now. And that way, so I can control the radar just a little bit more, a little bit faster as we continue to monitor the latest details looks like they're going to start the live stream here very soon across our area. Lots of in and out going on. But again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Adair County. This is going to be in effect. What's up, Aiden? It's going to be in effect until over the next 15 minutes. Again, you guys, 15 minutes for this severe thunderstorm warning. Not expecting this to last very long. It was confirmed by a mesonet that gusted to 63 miles per hour, which again does meet severe thunderstorm warning criteria. This severe thunderstorm warning has slightly lower than quarter-sized hail, maybe nickel-sized at best with this cell. But again, not expecting much in terms of extreme weather impacts over the next couple of minutes. So I'm continuing to monitor radar and man Mega Doppler for you guys. Further down south, we also have another storm that has beginning to form, and this is along that outflow boundary that has continued to race off to the east. So right over north portions of Waldron, you can see that storm is beginning to fire off. That may briefly pulse up. The outflow boundary has pushed through the region, and that's why we're also seeing this cell over towards Sequoia County fire off as well, just to the east of Salisaw and southeast of Marble City. So again, if you're watching this from Northwest Arkansas, I know a lot of people may be tuning in from Rogers. If you're watching this in Rogers, it's likely not even raining there, you guys. The most rain in Benton County is right along the county line, just south of Highfield, zooming in. But again, the most dangerous storm in our coverage area right now, it's not a overly severe storm, but it is briefly severe, pulsed up to 63 mile per hour wind gusts. That does meet severe weather criteria. It's Adair County. This storm will continue to move off to the southeast at 15 miles per hour. Now, that's the thing with these storms that I do want to stress for you guys. I'll bring myself back up here very quickly just so I can give you a full talking to. Thing about these storms, they're moving pretty slowly. At least some of them are, and we've seen them train over some of the same areas earlier. If you live in Madison County, especially northern Madison County, you guys certainly had your fair share of rain this afternoon a little earlier. Washington County, of course, within the past couple of hours, and those storms have really slowed down, and that's why we're also talking about a risk of flash flooding as well. So it's not just severe weather we also have a little elevated flash flooding. And because there's so many of you guys that will be on the roads later on this afternoon and evening, of course, with the Jelly Roll and Post Malone concert, that's why we're a little concerned. And I wanted to hop on this live. Even though this severe thunderstorm warning will be short lived, we'll probably stay on just a little longer as these storms continue to move throughout the region and try to do our best of keeping you updated on what's going on. And then we will have yet another newscast at 10 o'clock. That one I will be in and I will be live with that one. So we'll continue to monitor the latest details. I am going to put a track on this cell. I mentioned it was moving southeast at 15 miles per hour. So I'm going to get you caught up with that. You'll be able to see me draw it live here as we switch things back over to radar here very quickly. And that's going to be the name of the game, folks, as we continue to see these storms fire off and over to the east. So you're going to be able to see me draw this here in live view. But again, it's moving off to the southeast at about 15 miles per hour. So not going to be moving much over in most of you guys across Northwest Arkansas. We'll draw this out for the next hour as this storm continues to hold together. So for a track, excuse me if I pronounced that wrong, but Addie Lee at 8:39 here within the next few minutes. Barron at 8:50, just shy of 8:50. Wrights Chapel at 8:58. Dutch Mills 9:15. We're also talking about Oak Grove Church right around 9:20. Morrow at 9:30. Evansville, should these storms hold over to 9:32, and Hell Mountain Church 9:33. So again, this storm is going to be briefly severe warned. I want to stress that this is not a storm that is expected to hold together and push south, but the name of the game, because of this outflow boundary, any other cells further south could spark up any severe thunderstorm warnings. This is heading. I'm going to answer a few questions here as we continue to. I'll continue to monitor the chat as well. Which way is this headed? This is heading off to the southeast. So there's the track on your screen. Again, it's crawling, so it's not moving very fast. So that cone that you see is drawn over the next hour or so, but because it's moving so slow, there's only a handful of towns that will be in the path of this storm over the next couple of minutes. We're continuing to monitor. I'm live on stream. Is there a update on the concert? They were continuing to monitor. I was going to see what you thought. Okay. So that was an update. They're continuing to monitor the latest as of right now. I will say the lightning has significantly diminished across portions of Northwest Arkansas. I'll bring back up Mega Doppler for you guys so you can see. The lightning has significantly diminished across most of the coverage, or most of Washington County, I should say. However, as you'll notice on Mega Doppler here, the storm is just off to the west. Now, that is a little more than 8 miles. I checked a little earlier. I believe Rhea is about 15, 20 minutes away, maybe further than that. I think it was 15 miles away. So haven't seen a lightning strike within, oh, never mind. There was a lightning strike over towards eastern portions of Washington County, over towards Wesley. So again, sporadic lightning will continue to be possible, and that's why that concert has continued to be delayed. I'm going to continue to go through the comments, but again, we walk you through that severe thunderstorm warning. I don't want you guys to panic or anything. This is not going to be a super crazy afternoon and evening or rest of this evening. I want to point that out. And I just want to hop on here and give you guys the latest details and update, because I know there's a lot of people that may be concerned with, of course, the amount of thunderstorm activity that has especially been across Northwest Arkansas a little earlier. I can actually walk you guys through what's exactly been going on. I have a little bit of a show built together from some of my earlier newscasts. But again, just for reiteration purposes, I do want to focus on this track very quickly yet again. Just cancel already. Geez, believe me, Travis and April, I am 100% with you guys. Seems like this is back-to-back weekends where we were tracking potential severe weather. Last weekend, 4th of July, we were live on stream, lightning and fireworks, and now Mother Nature's back at it again. But again, just to reiterate, over the next few minutes. Addie Lee, this storm is likely on top of you guys right now. Again, this severe thunderstorm only has, believe it or not, a few more minutes left on it. It's only has 6 minutes left. That's because a mesonet gusted to 65 or recorded a gust of 63 miles per hour, and that is meeting severe weather criteria. Lots of heavy rainfall just off to the north of this cell as well, over just to the south of Siloam Springs. If you live in Siloam Springs, let me know what you guys are seeing right now. Their storm is below severe limits as of right now. It's not warned. However, that could change here as we continue to see this storm fire off. So I'll switch you guys back to the mega Doppler just so I can move a little faster and freely. But yeah, so Siloam Springs, this is what you guys, especially on the western side of the city, especially across the state line, West Siloam Springs to be more specific. You guys are likely getting in on a lot of heavy rainfall, maybe even some small hail up to maybe nickel size at best, but most of this is a little smaller than that, maybe pea to dime sized hail just to the west of the main city, West Siloam Springs. And again, I'll bring up Megadopter so you can see. So that storm is below severe limits. Bringing you guys further down south for a radar tour. We are on the Fort Smith radar because it makes the most sense as of right now. Sequoia County, if you live over towards Salisaw and Atkins, you guys are getting in on a little bit of a cell. Again, below severe limits, but definitely some heavy rain and some lightning beginning to happen. And if you live over towards the Fort Smith region, especially south of Fort Smith, just due south of Fort Smith, over towards Pecola and Barling, very close to the radar. So not the best scans and best representation of what's going on, but I could do you guys a solid, and I can pull up a camera that we have, and this is going to be not necessarily directly in the thunderstorm, but it's going to give a very good idea of what it will look like for you guys if you're looking towards this thunderstorm. So stand by here really quickly and pull this camera up, and this camera is looking off to the south. So this is Dripping Springs. So this is just north of Fort Smith, and this is looking south, I believe. And we're starting to see that. I believe I just saw a lightning strike as well on the Bentonville camera. So maybe some of those shower and thunderstorms activity continuing across Northwest Arkansas, and that's not good news if you want the concert to go to happen a little bit quicker than what we're already seeing. But again, now we're kind of bouncing around here, and that's because there's just so much going on. But again, I don't want you guys to be overly scared of what's going on. What about the Jelly Roll concert in Fayetteville? Will it be canceled? It's tough to say about cancellation. I'm not exactly 100% sure of what their policy is for cancellation. I do know that they have a 30-minute counter or timer, I should say. And if lightning strikes within 8 miles of a given, if lightning strikes within 8 miles radius, I should say, then they'll reset that 30-minute counter. So that's why the concert has not started yet. I believe it was supposed to start at 7 p.m. Of course, that was just not going to happen, as that was right around the time where those showers and thunderstorms were moving through. And this is exactly what was expected. We were tracking the outflow boundaries a little earlier. And of course, with the heating of the day and a little bit more energy, they definitely sparked off a few storms. So that's why that concert has not happened yet. So we'll continue to monitor that. Siloam Springs area, yep, just touched on you guys. You guys are getting in on some of the heavier rainfall and rainfall bands now. These storms are not moving very fast. So if you live in West Siloam Springs, it's certainly going to continue to rain at a pretty good clip here over the next hour or so at best, as I'll bring up Mega Doppler again for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. So again, here's what we're seeing. Fayetteville, of course, Razorback Stadium, which is where the concert is. Light rain as of now is not coming down as good as it was a little earlier, but still some sporadic lightning strikes here and there. And that's why that concert hasn't started yet. But again, for you guys asking about the severe thunderstorm warning, Adair County is where the is in Westville. This is right for you guys. In fact, that is where the Mesonet recorded that 63 mile per hour wind gust. But again, continuing to see that storm as it moves off further south, I should say. Not looking as impressive as it did a little earlier. It was a little bit more organized, you'll see, when that warning came out. Now it's kind of split, but maybe still some small hail with this storm. I do want to briefly touch on this because this is certainly something that was important a little earlier. And I know, of course, it's always a question, especially here across Northwest Arkansas. Not seeing any tornado potential with any of these storms. I don't want you guys to be scared about that. Now, obviously, the threat will never be zero, but it's definitely near zero. This environment that we have in place, I'm just not seeing it be conducive for any tornadic development. Now, having said that, Of course, cell and boundary interactions will still have to be watched very closely. But just for an emphasis, yeah, not seeing much happen over on our rotation right now. So again, not expecting tornadic development with these storms. These are going to be your run of the mill severe thunderstorm warnings at best, as they briefly pulse up to severe limits and then collapse. Now, when these storms do collapse, there could be some damaging winds. I do want to show you guys this here very quickly. I'll bring up myself full, or maybe I can do this really quickly. I could run from weather 2 as well. So stand by here very quickly. I'm going to try to do my best and bring up weather 2. There we go. So showing you guys Mega Doppler here very quickly, and I'm going to work on weather 1, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a damage report that came out of Goshen, Arkansas, a little earlier this evening as some of those storms fired off. It looks like that before I do so, looks like that recording, you can see Casey, my anchor, in the background. We're going to start doing a recording of our Fox show. I will not be in the Fox show because, for obvious reasons, we're tracking severe thunderstorms, but there will be times where I have to talk a little quieter, likely throughout majority of this because we do abbreviated breaks in recording. So I'll be talking a little bit quieter. Hopefully you guys can still hear me, but I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between Mega Doppler as well as radar and giving you guys the updates. Oh, here we go. Yep. So bringing you back to Mega Doppler here very quickly, showing you what's going on. And I'll also bring up weather 1 here very quickly so I can show you guys that damage report. So this damage report, now, I'm not too sure about the other ones, but this damage report came out of Goshen as well, just east of Fayetteville, and that was because a tree was uprooted. So I want to stress, just because storms are not severe limits, that does not mean they can't cause problems. So that'll be something that we continue to monitor over the next several hours. And you can already see that severe thunderstorm warning has already been dropped off. Do not want to drop our guard. Continue to see that outflow boundary. So that's good news. That severe thunderstorm warning has been dropped off. So that's certainly good news. But again, Silent Springs, you guys are about to get in on pretty good downpour as we're starting to see some of those heavier rain bands inch closer, especially the west side of the city for now. However, that will continue to push off to the east southeast very slowly. Likely getting in on some, that could be false, but some bigger hailstones with that as well to the north side. So again, storms are not severe right now. However, they could briefly pulse up to severe. Severe criteria, if you do not know, is 58-mile-per-hour winds or greater, and or 1 inch in diameter hail, which would be quarter size. So this is going to be something we continue to track. I'm going to do another track on some of these storms. It's going to be a little harder to do without the warning, but we'll be able to see how fast they're going. So just bear with me, guys, as we're recording a newscast in the background. But I want to be here for you guys as we continue to see some of these stronger storms. Nothing overly severe. You guys will be okay, but at least want to ease a little anxiety that could be in place with some of these storms across Northwest Arkansas. The strongest storm we're seeing right now, the storm that was warned, has weakened quite a bit across the area, but still has a little bit of heavy rain and maybe some pocket changed sized hail. However, up north over towards Concord, south of Concord, over towards Silent Springs. Silent Springs is likely the most populated area underneath what I would think is the strongest cell as of right now. So if you're in Silent Springs, let me know. Let me know. Definitely want to be inside, but make sure you let me know in the comments what you're experiencing right now, especially if you're on the west side of the city. But for right now, what we're seeing looks like heavy rain. Mega Doppler can sometimes overdo the size of hail, but it certainly does look like a decent sized hail core could be going up just to the on the north side of Silent Springs, and that certainly could be something we watch. Again, I want to stress nothing overly severe. These storms are not going to be very tornadic, if at all, but definitely heavy rain right now and some stronger hail. Now, I've been wary of this, but I also want to show you guys this because of those storms that happened a little earlier. We have had a flash flood warning that has been issued until there's an hour and 56 minutes left on that. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. That was actually extended from a little earlier, it was 7:15. So again, here's what's going on. Mega Doppler. Some of those storms starting to fire off along and south of I-40 as well. Waldron, likely a little with activity. I'll show you guys what it looks like over in Waldron as well. It's a little further south. I know most of you viewers are from Northwest Arkansas, but they are in our coverage area as well. Do not want to forget about them. But as night falls, we begin to get a better look at some of those lightning strikes that are happening as well. So that'll be something I can show you guys. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up, wow, Mount Magazine. That was something. I'll bring up Mount Magazine for you guys. Mount Magazine is looking at the same storm, and let's just say that it's pretty electrified. And that's, again, the name of the game with these hot and humid conditions that we have. Storms will continue to be very electrified. So we're going to continue to monitor the radar. I know a lot of you guys are asking about Fort Smith. Fort Smith, depending on the side of the city, or if you're going the southeast side of Fort Smith and points towards east, like over towards Greenwood, just a little further south, you guys are definitely getting in on some rain and lightning right now. Again, nothing severe right now, but that outflow boundary has passed through. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. You saw the lightning strike from Mount Magazine. This is looking at some of those storms off to the south and west. So again, in the middle of a newscast, and that's why I can't talk as loud as I would like to. Kind of sounds like I'm whispering. Not seeing any, and I'm hearing a siren. Yeah, it's definitely the western half of the city, like across the state line. It's mainly where what's going on. So I'll bring you back. In fact, I can show Silent Springs as well. I'll make sure I have the camera oriented in the right direction before I do so. But Silent Springs, you guys are definitely getting in on some good action. Let's see, Silent Springs. Yep. I could bring this up really quickly. So Silent Springs, this is Allen Elementary in Silent Springs. Definitely continuing to see heavy rain and lightning. That continues to be the case. I'm going to show you guys Mega Doppler here very quickly. Glad you're letting us know, Dean. Appreciate that. Doing my best here to give you guys the latest update. Again, all storms are below severe limits as of right now. But if I was going to put a little area to watch, it would be this storm over Silent Springs and just to the southwest of Gentry. Likely some heavy rain, slightly bigger hail, maybe nickel to slightly quarter side tail with some of these with this particular cell. But again, Silent Springs, that's going to be the general direction. Now, you'll notice the orientation of this. This is going to be very interesting because what I'm noticing is that I'll switch these over to weather 2 really quickly, and I'll show you guys what I want to talk about. I want to draw another track because the interesting thing that's happening, these storms are continuing to push off to the southeast. So that's going to be a little bit concerning because for obvious reasons. Local museum halls around a full-scale history lesson on wheels. I'll show you guys this really quickly. This is going to be a track. So check that out. The reason I'm a little concerned with this, yep, before I get there, no rain in Bella Vista. Nice. So most of, I'll say this right here. Carroll County, Benton County, you guys had thunderstorms a little earlier. Most of the activity has pushed a little further south as that boundary has shifted a little further south. So I'll show you guys Benton County really quickly, but as you can see, just underneath the banner, most of Benton County, you guys are okay. Now the far southwestern portions over towards Gentry, you guys are of course still seeing some heavy rainfall, but I want to bring this up again because this is pretty important. If these storms hold together, you can see the orientation of them would eventually take it back into Washington County. And even if it's not necessarily exactly Fayetteville, lightning will once again delay that concert even longer. And I have to assume at some point the concert would eventually just be postponed or canceled. So that's why I'm a little concerned about the track of these storms as they continue to drift off. Now, again, these storms are moving slowly, and that's why the track has been drawn out for an hour, but it still looks pretty small. So Silent Springs, of course, now there's no question about it, no doubt about it, especially if you're on the western side. But that storm has begun to grow in a little bit in terms of size and coverage. So Silent Springs, willing to bet you guys are getting in on some pretty good rain right now. Um, Slightly north of that as well, Smithfield, you guys will be over in that path over the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. 9:15, Weddington Church, way down the line at 9:45. So we're it's only 8:53 here on this evening. So we're continuing to track some of these storms, but they are moving pretty slow for now. I could change, but because those storms are moving so slow, that's why we're continuing to see flash flood warnings as well as flood advisories be put out. So again, and those last way longer than the storm. So you'll see that green outline here showing you that flash flood warning, but it has stopped raining at the heaviest. But those last until the water goes down. So remember, if you're outside and if you're traveling, remember to turn around, don't drown. Lots of outdoor activities going on. People maybe trying to hit Dixon Street after the concert. Depending on if those storms make it through Northwest Arkansas, that'll be something we continue to monitor. But again, I want you guys weather aware of what we're seeing happening right now. So that's a look at the track. I'm going to bring back Mega Doppler. It has a little bit better of a view of what's going on. So I'm going to bring back Mega Doppler up for you guys, and there you'll be able to see as I'll be able to control the radar here a little better. So again, Silent Springs, especially to the north now, looks like the northern side of Silent Springs, right on the state line, likely getting in on a little bit of some pocket changed hail. Definitely heavy rain at the very least. Gusty winds likely not at nowhere near as strong as they were. Not seeing as many, but still going to continue to monitor that. The storm that caused the severe thunderstorm warning has fell apart pretty significantly. One thing I like to look at when we're tracking storms is the echo tops. The taller the storm, of course, the stronger it usually is. And when those storms collapse, they can briefly cause gusty winds. So that's likely what we were seeing happen as that storm began to collapse. It was causing gusty winds. And that's why that severe thunderstorm warning was so short lived. They only issued it for about 15 minutes out ahead of time, rightfully so, because you'll see, of course, the winds have died down. Still lots of rain along that outflow boundary, just out behind that outflow boundary, I should say, over towards Waldron, Boonville, Greenwood, Pecola, and that's the Fort Smith region, and then Point South. Some pockets of heavier rainfall. It's not every single area that's seeing downpours, but pockets of heavier rainfall in and around that area, especially over towards Logan County, northern Scott County, as well as Sebastian County. You guys are getting in on that. Crawford County, close to the radar, but still slightly some areas of heavy rainfall, especially the closer you are to Fort Smith and Point South. If you're in Sequoia County, most of the heaviest rainfall continues to sit over Atkins. And notice the orientation. I'm going backwards in time. And again, guys, if you're worrying about why I'm talking so quietly, it's because they're recording a newscast. So that's why I can't talk as loudly. But I'm going back in time to show you the orientation of these storms. I wanted to fix your eyes on Atkins in Sequoia County. Notice storm hasn't really moved. It kind of sat right over the city. And because of the nature of that exact thing is why we're continuing to be a little concerned about some areas of flash flooding. So that's why we'll continue to monitor the radar. But again, if you're outdoors, if you have any outdoor evening plans with the concert or just out and about, just make sure you're being weather aware, especially turn around, don't drown. Do not try to drive through any floodwaters that we're seeing. How bad for Silent Springs? Yeah, we're looking at you guys right now. You guys are definitely seeing the strongest storm, I would say so, in the coverage area right now. But again, not severe, just heavy rainfall, some pocket changed sized hail with this storm, but it has been coming down in size here very recently. So that's good news. We'd like to see that. Again, I mentioned I'll zoom out and give you guys a wide view. So here's a look. Do a little bit of a, usually call it a radar tour, but I'll call it Mega Doppler tour since I'm on Mega Doppler. But again, some areas where it rained pretty good a little earlier, portions of Carroll County, Madison County, even portions of Boone and Newton counties, you guys are mostly quiet now, especially Carroll and Boone County. You guys are quiet. Carroll and Boone County, you guys are quiet. Benton County, Rogers, Bella Vista, Springdale, like you got nothing's happening, nothing's going on. I think the threat is kind of shifting off to the south a little bit from you guys. a little further removed from the outflow boundary, and that's why those storms are not really getting going. Now, still seeing some lightning strikes, and some of this could try to push into Benton County as it continues to slowly drift off to the east southeast. So that'll be the orientation of some of these storms. Again, right along the state line. But again, all storms right now are sub-severe. I also have another eye on some of the National Weather Service's chat. So we're going to continue to see that. Are we going to see any storms here in Springdale? It does look like for Springdale, it's not out of the realm of possibility. There is a cell that's just off to your south and west. You can see that right along, this would be US Highway 412, I believe. Yep. Right along US Highway 412 to the west of Johnson, a small cell. If you were to step outside across portions of Springdale and look off to the south and west, you may or may not see a lightning bolt here or there, but again, not out of the realm of possibility that you guys see rainfall. But again, most of the activity is pushing south, but it can back build. And that's what we're seeing happen over Siloam Springs right now. And that's why that flood threat will be there for a little bit. It's been raining for quite a bit now over the past several minutes. And heavy rain will continue. But for right now, again, everything has been sub-severe, even back out west, where that area of low pressure I was tracking earlier on TV, those storms have died off in terms of severe limits. Still tons of lightning with them as well. And here's something, unfortunately, it looks like another lightning strike happened, and that's close enough. I just heard thunder. Looks like that 30-minute counter may have just been reset, unfortunately, for portions for the concert at Razorback Stadium. That's definitely within 8 miles. I just heard thunder here at the station. So again, I believe the rule I was told was every lightning strike within an 8-mile radius will restart. Yeah, I'm talking about that. Are we going to see Post Malone? I was just mentioning that lightning strike you see just to the southeast of Fayetteville. I believe I just heard that. This lightning strike right here, that's within 8 miles, I believe, of Razorback Stadium. So that 30-minute counter may have just been reset. The rule is every lightning strike that happens within 30 minutes or within 30 minutes. I live off Weddington's lightning. Yep. So yeah, sorry, you reading the comments. Yeah, every lightning strike within an 8-mile radius of the Razorback Stadium, if it strikes, that will reset a 30-minute timer that they have in order to give all clear. So if the concert was to go on, I would have to say it's not going to be for another 20 to 30 minutes at best, and that's again at best. But I think things will be likely a little longer than that. Continuing to monitor Mega Doppler here. Sorry, a very quick break. So over towards Gentry, you guys are starting to get in on a little bit better of some lightning. So these storms are not moving north, but they are back building. So that's why we're continuing to see Siloam Springs heavy rainfall, especially on the western side of Siloam Springs, across the state line, West Siloam Springs to be more specific, to the south and west of Gentry, likely some areas of light rain, as well as lightning. You don't want to be outside, even if it's not the heaviest rainfall. Remember, lightning can strike up to 10 miles away from the storm. So make sure you're keeping that in mind. See some of those random lightning strikes out ahead of the storm where it's not raining. So again, make sure you keep that in mind. Now, some of those could be false, but again, that is definitely a possibility of lightning. So again, keep that in mind. It's like more energy continuing to push off across Washington County. Again, Adair County, nothing severe. We're not seeing any storms be severe. Sequoia County as well. The storm's not severe just yet. You can see the outflow boundary out of our viewing area, of course, or portions of our viewing area, getting close to out of our viewing area. Poto, that outflow boundary, gust of wind likely just went through. But again, most of the shower and thunderstorm, actually all of the shower and thunderstorm activity is below severe criteria for now. You need to have wind gusts in excess of 58 miles per hour or greater, and you also need to have or quarter-sized hail, which would be 1 inch in diameter. That is severe thunderstorm warning criteria, base severe thunderstorm warning criteria. So because we're not seeing that, there's no severe thunderstorm warning. So just want to be on here, guys, to track these storms with you as we continue to monitor the latest. We saw that severe thunderstorm warning go up. That was very brief, and that was for Adair County, and that's because one of those storms briefly posted up to severe limits as it was collapsing, and that likely produced we call some downburst winds. So that's something we'll continue to see over the next couple of days. But we are keeping a track on some of the National Weather Service chats, and looks like they're saying trends are down in intensity over the past 30 minutes or so, with the sun setting and a lot of outflow dominant air as of now. So strong to severe chances will shift south to near the I-40 corridor through the rest of the evening, where better instability resides. And if you do not have our Weather Authority app, this was something I talked about in the most recent update. Temperatures in the River Valley were slightly warmer this afternoon because it hasn't rained down there yet. So I'll bring up the current temperature map just now. Right now, since we're live on stream, I can just do this. So obviously you have rain cooled air for Fort Smith, but check out Sallisaw and Poto. Now, this is the hourly temperature graphic. So I'll pull this up for you guys. This is the hourly temperature graphic. So Fort Smith is cooling down. Of course, you got all the rain cooled air now. I can't turn down the background noise because they're filming a newscast, but it'll be done here. It'll be done here very quickly. They're filming the Fox 24 show. I'm not in the Fox 24 show because we're tracking storms move through the area, and this is a recorded newscast, so I can't simultaneously do it how we do some of the other ones. But again, the reason why those storms could briefly post up to severe limits along the I-40 corridor is that's because that's where most of the heaviest rainfall was at. You can see Poto within the last hour still reading 90 degrees. Now, obviously, the outflow has continued to push south, and you can see the newest update of that right there. So we're continuing to monitor that. Looks like the newscast is over. So the recorded newscast is over. So that's good news. I'll be able to talk freely now. I do apologize for that. It's just something that happens here in the news industry, where some of your newscasts are recorded just because of blocks of programming and things of that nature. Our next newscast will be at 10 p.m., I believe so. So that will be the next time we're on air. That newscast I will be in, so I'll have to build a show here simultaneously. But we'll continue to keep an eye. Again, most of there is heavy rainfall elsewhere, but in terms of severe weather criteria, should anything get going, the most likely area would be the I-40 corridor. So that's the Fort Smith region and points south, especially LaFleur County, where some of those temperatures are still very warm ahead of that outflow boundary that hasn't quite pushed through the region yet. So I want to switch things over to radar. I want to take off the track that we did a little earlier. It's a little old now, but I'm going to be able to switch this to radar, and I'll be able to move freely, give you guys a radar tour, kind of similar to what we do on Mega Doppler. But I'm doing the radar tour just because it has the watch warning auto query. So again, I want to bring your attention. Those slow-moving thunderstorms that we continue to fire off across the area will behave in areas just like this. Flash flood warning all the way until 10:45 p.m. Now, of course, the heaviest of this rain that caused this has been moved further south, but you can see additional rainfall falling just to the west of Elkins, east of Greenland, and southeast of Fayetteville. That little cell that you see has had a lightning strike within the last 30 minutes. So I don't think that concert will be happening for another 20 to 30 minutes or so, at least at best, unless we see another lightning strike. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. Thank you guys for all of your comments. Screw the background. Here you go. And thank you guys. You're good, man. Any hail with this? We were seeing some small hail with some of these storms a little earlier. I'll bring back up Mega Doppler just because it shows up a little better on here. We were seeing some small hail with that cell over towards Silent Springs. Not quite large enough to cause severe warnings, but you can see a lot of that has since dropped off. And I think that cell that we were watching in Silent Springs, here it is. It looked a little better here. You can see it looks like it's released its hail core, and I don't think it's going to try to build another one as that storm continues to weaken. So the instability is starting to come down quite a bit as these storms, the outflow boundary has pushed off to the east, In fact, I'll point it out here on radar. It's going to be a little hard, not as easy to see as it was a little earlier, but that's the outflow boundary right there. That narrow green line that you see that's pushing through LaFleur County, right over Poto as we speak, and it's on the western side of Sequoia. That's the outflow boundary that continues to push south. And I can put this into motion and back it up a little bit, and you can see how it was a very stout signature that you can tell. And as that continued to push off to the south and west, it's sparking new showers and thunderstorms, especially over towards Sequoia County. So that's the outflow boundary. Because that has passed through, I think most of the severe limits or severe threats for Northwest Arkansas is done. In fact, I mentioned this during the recorded newscast. It was a little quieter, but Carroll County, Benton County, likely not even raining it's not raining for most of you guys. Boone, Newton counties, you guys were under severe thunderstorm watches a little earlier. Those were dropped off by 7:30. So good news about that. Fort Smith, Arkansas. Yep, we're continuing to monitor Fort Smith, Arkansas. This is the area that just has a slightly better axis of instability with that outflow boundary and those warmer temperatures a little earlier. You can see pretty good sail actually happening right now, just to the south of, right over Boonville, Mansfield, south of Washburn, to the north of Waldron. I think this a little earlier, the Siloam Springs sail was likely our strongest sail in the weather coverage area. Now we're beginning to shift our focus a little further south, as that again, that's where a better axis and pool of instability has taken place across the region. So in fact, I want to bring this camera up. We have a live look from Waldron. Hopefully this camera stays up as we continue to track these storms. I want to point this off to the north, and we'll likely get a good couple of lightning strikes as this storm continues to push on through. Let's see if I can bring this up here very quickly. Yeah, so here's a live look at Waldron. Of course, it's raining. No doubt about that. Want to see if we can catch a pretty good lightning strike here in the short term. Lots of lightning again with that sail over towards Stillwell. That's something we'll continue to monitor here very closely. But again, all of these are sub-severe for right now. So we're thankful for that. We're continuing to monitor them just in case. There you see some of those lightning strikes happening. And don't worry, we'll go through another radar tour. I know you guys don't want to just stare at the camera all day. So we'll go through another radar tour here in the very short term. But again, lots of lightning happening right now. They are letting the concert goers into the stadium right now. Okay, so that's good news. That's good news. So, you want to lead at 10 again? Yeah, I can lead at 10. Yeah, so looks like they're letting the concert goers into the stadium now. So that's good news. We'll keep an eye on Mega Doppler. I will say it's cool that they're doing that, but I'll do max 2 so I can continue to control this. Cool that they're doing that, but the storms have continued to back build just a little bit. So this is the latest scan. I'll show you that. So concert goers, get in while you can, but again, there will still be the threat for an isolated lightning strike with some of these cells. Don't want to wish it on you guys. I certainly hope the concert happens and that everyone can enjoy Post Malone and Jelly Roll in good fashion. But again, I just want to communicate that the risk has not completely dropped off of seeing any sporadic lightning with some of those cells. Now, I don't know if they only do that for cloud to ground lightning strikes or just any lightning. I would have to assume any lightning with it being outdoor events with no indoor side. But again, that's pretty good news. So we're glad to see that happening. So what's going on? I'll zoom out just a little bit more so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So Delaware County, you guys, heavy rainfall, some lightning, but that's just based on the storm warning. Siloam Springs, very same to you. It was a little heavier a little earlier. Now it looks like just your typical run-of-the-mill thunderstorm. Adair County, still a little bit of a stronger cell as these storms have some of these cells have kind of merged. But again, not seeing anything very impressive with velocity or with rainfall, or not with rainfall, but with severe criteria, I should say, wind speed. But certainly some heavy rainfall. There it is. Heavy rainfall, lots of lightning. Flash flooding threat will, of course, continue to be a possibility with any of these storms. And check out this bad boy down here south of Greenwood. I know that there are people asking a lot of questions. The good news is, I'll say this. If I'm not mentioning your town specifically especially if you're in Northwest Arkansas, it's likely because there's not much going on for you guys or nothing expected for you guys. Now, of course, there still could be some sporadic rainfall as well as your typical lightning strikes, but if I'm not focused in on you specifically, that's usually a good thing. So for right now, big priority is going to be Washington County, of course, with everyone out, especially Fayetteville specifically, with everyone at Razorback Stadium for the concert. We're also going to keep an eye on, especially Western Benton County, extreme Western Benton County. We're talking like right around the state line, Gentry and points west towards Silent Springs, Delaware County, Colcord, and Adair County. Of course, we'll keep an eye on you guys as well. That's where initially where that severe thunderstorm warning actually took place, and then also points for our far southern coverage area. A little less people, but still we keep an eye on them as well. So we're talking about Logan, southern Sebastian County, as well as Scott County, and then of course in the future, should any thunderstorm develop, LaFleur County will need to be watched as those temperatures stayed very warm throughout the 10 o'clock hour. Those temperatures actually still reading some of those in the 90s. So we'll continue to see that. Looks like these storms are moving east-southeast. Yes, they are, and they are moving east-southeast at a very slow rate. In fact, our severe thunderstorm warning that we had a little earlier to start the live stream, that storm was only crawling at about 15 miles per hour. So that's why those tracks were very short, even though we drew them out for slightly over an hour. So just wanted to point that out. Again, all storms in the coverage area are below severe limits. He said, I'm less people, less people in terms of population. No one is less, but yeah, we appreciate you for tuning in. Of course, we'll track these storms for you guys. Just make sure you guys are safe. Definitely going to be a little noisy, especially in a little bit of an uptick of lightning with that cell down there, as well as the cell over in Adair County, I should say. You can see the orientation of that as it continues to drift off, again, very slowly to the east-southeast. More of a southeast component with this cell in particular, but you can see as those cells kind of merged, uptick in lightning as well. Of course, that's the latest scan. Obviously, we watch those cell merges and boundary interactions for any rotation. And again, not seeing much, but definitely a pocket of some stronger winds coming in. Right, this is reading right about 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so that's certainly something that begs to be watched. But again, we'll continue to see that for any cell interactions. Again, nothing much in terms of rotation. We're again want to stress this: the tornado environment just not there today. Of course, we never say zero, but behaviors like that of cell interactions as well as boundary interactions is always something we have to watch very closely here, especially being Northwest Arkansas. Never say never, but we're thankful that we're not seeing that anyway. This environment really just supports damaging winds and some pocket changed hail for right now. Speaking of that, outside of a report over towards Goshen, Arkansas, in Washington County, that's just east of Fayetteville, we had a report there a little earlier of a tree that was blown down or uprooted, I should say, a tree that was uprooted. That storm was not severe, but that just goes to show it doesn't necessarily take severe thunderstorms to cause any problems. Of course, some of you guys, unfortunately, know that from experience rather than just knowledge. But I want to stress that we'll get back to radar here. I just want to continue to monitor the chat. Little Tulsa update. Yeah. So in terms of Tulsa, I can bring up Mega Doppler here again for you guys so you guys can see that. No, it's slightly out of our viewing area, but lots of rainfall and shower and thunderstorm activity happening in Tulsa. In fact, I'll bring up, this is something that I can do very quickly because the storm over Tulsa has actually pulsed up a little bit. That's a lot of lightning over towards that area, and that outflow boundary continues to race off. But there's also another area of low pressure over towards that region, and that's why those storms have continued to fire off. But again, that boundary is getting a little closer to Northwest Arkansas, especially Benton County. Not seeing as much pooling out ahead of that boundary as we did a little earlier. In fact, the latest surface map, I should say, is what we look at when we see our fronts. That front is actually draped right over or right at the state line of Arkansas and Missouri. So that's good news. That means that front will beginning to push through here a little quicker than normal. So a little quicker than expected, I should say. So again, live look at Mega Doppler right now. We'll do another radar tour. Tulsa, that storm will certainly have to be watched. Now, we are not on the Tulsa radar for obvious reasons because we're a little further away. but that storm will certainly have to be watched for and any uptick in activity, as the lightning has certainly upticked on that. But for our viewing area, again, nothing severe as of right now. Some lightning strikes continuing to back build into western Benton County. Notice the orientation of this. So Silent Springs, we were calling you guys out earlier. Notice how that has continued to just back build on the state line between Arkansas and Oklahoma. So Delaware County, especially southeastern Delaware County, over toward just to the south of Maysville, Sycamore, some of those light showers and storms could back build over towards you guys here in the next few minutes. That'll be something to watch. But again, they're not severe at all. They're just going to be causing problems and maybe an occasional lightning strike. As we work our way further south into Washington County, I know they said the concert goers were let back into the stadium and continuing to move back into the stadium. That's good news. Again, still seeing a few cells with intermittent lightning strikes here and there, nowhere near as much as what we saw a little earlier. So hopefully that continues to downtrend and we can have the concert in a fun and peaceful environment. Southern Adair County is likely one of the strongest cells we're seeing right now, as a couple of cells have merged. Again, we've been keeping a very close eye on this. Any cell mergers, of course, you always want to make sure you keep an eye on. Some stronger winds certainly with these cells, but again, not seeing much in terms of anything super concerning. Just heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and frequent lightning. Frequent lightning is certainly something. Maybe some pocket change tail in the best portion of the updrafts, but again, most of these, if not all of these storms, are below severe criteria. And then we have our big boy down here. You can see Mansville getting in on some heavy rainfall now. That outflow boundary has pushed through, and now these storms are continuing to fire up. We were looking at our Waldron camera, which is continuing to see some lightning. Mount Magazine has the occasional lightning strike here and there as those storms continue to push off to the east. I want to do something really quickly. I want to check out Mount Magazine to see which direction this is looking, to make sure we have the best view of this. I'll push this Mount Magazine southeast. So yeah, we're already looking southeast. Kind of has the camera tower in the way per usual. Usually our best view, this is something I wanted to at least shed light on. Usually our best view, especially recently here, you guys seen this with the 4th of July stream a week ago from today. Our best view is usually blocked by a pole, the camera pole, the camera that the pole that supports the camera. Usually our best view of a storm is blocked by that. So that's why you always hear us complain about some of our camera views we have here across Northern Arkansas. We don't complain. We appreciate them. They definitely do help. But it's just funny sometimes that the orientation and movement of these storms, you try to get a good view and maybe you get a very good lightning strike and then you turn the camera and you're like, oh, never mind. It's the pole. But back to the radar. A little bit of a rant. Is Tiny Town going to get storms tonight? Let's check it out. Let's check it out for you guys. So, I believe Tiny Town is over towards this area. Am I wrong? Tahlequah? Could be a little further south. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. I'm blanking on exactly where Tahlequah or Tiny Town, is. But I believe it's not far. I know Tiny Town, lots of you guys had some stronger winds a couple of weeks ago from a storm in the early morning time frame that actually caused lots of damage, unfortunately, but not necessarily, it wasn't severe warning. But again, that's one of those situations where you have those that's why I'm blanking. Tiny Town is way closer than I thought. That is hilarious. So Elm Springs is just south, or Tiny Town is just south of Elm Springs. I don't know why it's not popping up here. Do I have to zoom in closer? There it is. Okay. Covered by the banner. That's why I was like, no, it's okay. So yeah, Tiny Town. I mean, the storms have continued to back build, but it's not necessarily out of the question. That storm is just off to you guys' south. And that's the storm that we're continuing to monitor very closely, because you'll notice, again, sporadic lightning strikes are still possible with these storms. So I know one of the latest messages I got was they're letting the concert goers back into the stadium. Some of those lightning strikes are still not so far away from Razorback Stadium. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. Nobody cares about the concert as far as I know. Yeah, that's I guess people have their opinions on the artists. Lots of people out and about though, so just want to provide some good updates for some of those people that may be out and about trying to enjoy the concert, and even not if not just trying to enjoy this weekend. Asylum, yeah. So we were talking about Asylum a little earlier here in the stream. You guys, of course, starting to calm down. In fact, believe it or not, as the heaviest of rain has kind of died out and pushed off to your north as well as off to your south. I think the heaviest rainfall now continues to be southern Adair County, and believe it or not, this is the storm, one of the storms that made us start the live stream, I should say. Of course, any cell and boundary interactions have to be watched here very closely, but again, not seeing anything significant or concerning right now. These are just some gusty winds, heavy rainfall, and again, some pocket change sized hail. Some of that may even melt before it reaches the ground. But again, heavy rainfall is certainly going to be a problem. You can see heavy rainfall over the past few scans in some of the same areas. That's going to continue to be a trend. And then further south for our storm down here, not looking as strong and impressive as it did a few scans ago, but still definitely some heavy rainfall over Mansfield, Huntington, Abbott, Midland. This is a pretty large cell in terms of size. Waldron, just north of Waldron, is where the heaviest rainfall is at. Not quite raining all the way in portions of southern Scott County and LaFleur County. It's likely the one of the quietest areas, but we are starting to see some new development just to the west of Pensacola and Spiro and Panama. That outflow boundary has pushed off through and continues to push through LaFleur County. So again, that's going to be the area of new development should anything new happen. Of course, you have your sporadic showers that are still going on as the front may push through, but for the most part, should anything be severe, it would be along and south of I-40 as we continue to monitor that. But of course, never say never as we continue to see this storm. Lots of lightning over in Adair County, south of Stillwell, Greasy. And of course, it's along Highway 59 that most of the storms try to cling to. But again, we were focusing so much on Northwest Arkansas because that concert and just a lot of people out and about. Bentonville clear. Yes, as of right now, not much going on across Benton County. You'll notice this is the latest scan though, and it was a little quieter a few scans ago in terms of coverage, but you can see some of those storms have started to back build into portions of Benton County. So maybe some raindrops and maybe some more shower and thunderstorm activity trying to get going across Benton County. We'll pull up some of the Bentonville cameras that we have here in the short term so I can keep a very close eye on that. Make sure this is on max 2. So I do have a newscast to prepare for as well. I got about 30 minutes, so I have plenty of time. But I'll likely try my best to simulcast my weather hit before I drop off should nothing else go severe right now. I do want to point out, this is good news. I do want to point this out though. We were talking about severe thunderstorm watches a little earlier. Those have since been killed and gone, at least for our viewing area. I believe that severe thunderstorm watch out west still goes until 10 p.m. So, yep, here's a look at that. I'll bring this up here very quickly. Stand by. Weather 1. And there we go. So this severe thunderstorm watch is out of our viewing area. Now, of course, you may still have friends and family that are not far and maybe underneath this watch. This goes until 10 p.m. Notice it was Boone, Newton, our eastern row of counties. I'll go Boone, Newton, Johnson, Logan, Scott counties that were underneath severe thunderstorm watches. A lot of those were killed off a little earlier, and then the latest round killed off Newton, Johnson, and Logan counties from that severe thunderstorm watch slightly before. It was going until 8 p.m. I think it was killed slightly before that. So that's good news. I think it was killed right around 7:30, right after my app update, unfortunately. So that's good news. We'll continue to see those storms wane in intensity as well as coverage throughout the overnight period. But you'll notice we kept those rain chances in there because those storms aren't just going to go pop and then done. They'll try to back build like we're seeing now. And because of that, they may continue to try to keep up some of their intensity. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. Switching things back over to Mega Doppler, you can see a little bit of a stronger cell trying to get going right just to the east of Fayetteville. Again, this is what we're talking about. These storms continue to back build. And that's why I was saying, even though they're letting the concert goers into the stadium, there still may be sporadic lightning strikes here and there as these storms continue to push off in the very awkward directions they're going into the east-southeast. Going to go through some comments here. I'll leave the radar up. You guys don't want to see me. You want to see the radar and see what's going on. So I'll zoom out just a little bit so you can see a little bit more of the viewing area. A little stronger sail over towards Adair County, as well as in LaFleur County, or not LaFleur County, but the River Valley, I should say, but southern Sebastian County, as well as northern Scott County, Waldron. You guys are starting to see a little bit heavier, some pockets of rain. Again, Mansfield, you guys have continued to see the heaviest of the rainfall in this area pretty consistently from Mansfield to Hartford, or Hartford, I should say, and down towards Liberty. So these are a little smaller towns, but we cover those as well. We show love to all the towns here. But again, for Northwest Arkansas, the heaviest rainfall looks to be southern Adair County as of right now. And that's the cell that sparked the severe thunderstorm warning a little earlier this afternoon that sparked the stream. But again, sporadic rain and lightning strikes possible throughout Northwest Arkansas as these storms continue to backbuild. I'm going to go through some of the comments, continue to let me know where you guys are watching from or where you're concerned about. I'll do my best to answer the questions as we continue to go. Radar stored pretty good in Rogers and into War Eagle, and the sun never came back out, so the threat is done for. Very good point. The threat is done for, and that boundary is beginning. It's actually at the state line, is beginning to move through, and that boundary was at the state line at the 7 p.m. update. So that'd be something we continue to see. But yeah, severe weather threat is over. There could still be some rainfall squeezed out by that boundary, but in terms of severe weather, yes, that outflow boundary has pushed well through portions of Northwest Arkansas, and the values of Cape that I'm looking at off stream have gone down significantly. So this is good news for us. We're not seeing anything that looks overly concerning, and that will likely continue to be the case. The only thing that's concerning me is the amount of lightning strikes I continue to see on some of our cameras, as well as further down south. Continue to see some of those lightning strikes happening, especially Mount Magazine lit up with lightning strikes as it looks at the storm that's just to the south of what we're showing right now. Good coverage tonight. Thanks for that. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, I wanted to hop on. I know a lot of people were just out and about, even though it didn't look like honestly, pretty similar to the 4th of July. Now, the ceiling for 4th of July was certainly a little higher as the orange Sharpie came out for portions of our far western coverage area. But thankfully, those storms died right as they got to the state line. Kind of similar to what we're seeing today in terms of there was a severe weather risk. And while, of course, it did come true, it's just not necessarily one of the worst that we've seen. And we're certainly thankful for that as we continue to track these storms. Not seeing much, but again, notice over the past couple of minutes or so, you see that newest lightning strike. You can follow the cursor. I don't have the pointer on me because I'm not on Max 1 as I'm continuing to build my show in the background as well. So I'm multitasking. But again, sporadic lightning will continue to be a possibility in and around Northwest Arkansas with any of those smaller pockets of rain that we're seeing form. And that's why, and I'm also, to be blatant obvious, I'm still hearing thunder here at the station myself here in Fayetteville. So that just lets me know there has still been some sporadic lightning strikes. So that's something we'll continue to be monitoring. But again, nothing severe. If anything, these will be your garden variety thunderstorms. In fact, just got to comment. These will be your garden variety thunderstorms. Yep. These are the severe weather risk is definitely trending down. I just looked at some of the atmospheric parameters off stream, and yeah, we're starting to lose a lot of the amount of Cape we had. Temperatures not as warm as what they were a little earlier within the last couple of hours or so. So that's good news. So it looks like I'll be refining my show here as we have a newscast to get ready for at 10. I'm going to go ahead and mic up now, even though I have quite some time, but I want to be ready because they'll be leading with me as I'll be talking about all of the shower and thunderstorm activity we've had over the past 6 to 8 hours or so across Northwest Arkansas. At first, it was Benton, especially northern Madison County, I should say, and Carroll counties got in on a pretty good downpour. Beaver Lake, you guys over towards War Eagle, you guys got a pretty good downpour earlier. Again, that energy has shifted further south. So that's why we'll continue to monitor the latest. But I'm leaving this on Mega Doppler as I talk because it's the most important thing right now. Radar, of course. These storms, again, for directions, storms are moving to the east-southeast. as we continue to track the latest. Any non most of the severe weather aspects are zero. We're not anticipating much. A little bit of upper level rotation in this little cell, but again, not enough to translate to the ground at all, and that's why we're not seeing any warnings or anything with that. So nothing concerning. Again, not expecting any tornadic environment. The environment really just supports gusty winds and maybe some pocket change hail with the strongest updrafts, and that's why we were emphasizing that. Now, everything that's happened so far, so good. Everything was expected. I think the timing was right around what we expected as well. I think the peak of it was right around 7 to 8 o'clock for Washington County, right here across Northwest Arkansas. Of course, a little bit earlier for some of us in Northwest Arkansas as those storms caught hold of the daytime heating and outflow boundary. It's lightning, thundering, and raining here in Tahlequah. Yep. Tahlequah, this is your garden variety thunderstorms, stratiform rain with some lightning. So if you want to go to sleep to it, you certainly can, because I do believe the severe weather risk is quite low with those storms. Back out towards Tulsa, that storm did not go severe, even though it posted up. Still lots of lightning with these storms, so it's still going to be a little loud. But if you like that if you like that kind of vibes to go to sleep with, this is definitely the perfect night for you. Doing a focus down here on the river valley, that storm we were monitoring, not looking nearly as impressive as that outflow boundary continues to race well ahead of it. And it looks like because of that, it's starting to weaken. And I want to show something really quickly. I love looking at echo tops. You can see how the oranges, now the banner's not changing for whatever reason. We'll fix that off stream a little later, but you can see how the echo tops the orange is about 40,000 feet, and you can see how those are starting to collapse and come down. Showed you those storms, those clouds are not as tall, which means they're not as cold at the top, which means the storms are on a little bit of a weakening trend. Now, with the strongest and tallest of updrafts, when that happens, you can get some damaging winds. We call those downbursts, as well as microbursts, depending on the size of them. But that's exactly the case of what happened that sparked our severe thunderstorm warning over towards Adair County a little earlier this evening, I should say. I should say. But again, not sensing anything. Yeah, that's good. I'm perceptive to barometric force, but not sensing anything out of the norm. That's good news. That's good. Definitely not seeing anything out of the norm here with the radar or any meteorology mind as well. So that's certainly something we'll continue to monitor. Wow. Yeah, a little stronger storms out west. Some of those reports that are coming in from the National Weather Service chat, but for our area, we are good. Again, these are just your run-of-the-mill garden variety thunderstorms. If you're wondering why I haven't shown a track on these storms, is because I'd say me talking over is just a little more informative for the time being. It's a little easier to draw a track when there's a live warning, but when there's not a track, you just know the storm motion is southeast at 15 miles per hour, but also it's because there's not one organized cell here across Northwest Arkansas. They're kind of back building, so the track wouldn't do as good of a justice as it could do with any other setup we're tracking. Again, keep an eye on this little swirly area over towards south of Stony Point. Not impressive, but again, I'm a meteorologist. I'm going to always look at it if I can. Any cell interactions that I'm seeing, and that's what we're seeing. Seeing those storms back build into that cell that was pushing south. So that'll be something we watch. But again, not seeing anything, nothing concerning whatsoever. Back to Northwest Arkansas, again, sporadic lightning strikes and pockets of moderate rainfall, slightly heavy rainfall over towards just to the east or west, I should say, of Fayetteville, Farmington, getting in on some good rainfall over the past few minutes or so. That green box that you see is a flash flood or a warning, I should say, that goes until 10:45. And that's because there was a band of heavy rain that sat over portions of Washington, Madison County a little earlier this evening that sparked some of that. Any word on the concert? Believe it or not, so far, no word. The last update I got was that they're letting some of the concerts go in. I'll try to check in as best as I can. I'll have, I'm sure my coworkers and my anchors will have an update on the concert once it happens. I know Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff is actually there if they're letting people in. So that's good news. So that's good. Yep. Checking the chat here myself. So stand by here very quickly. So the last update I saw was as of 8:20 p.m. But all right, so yep. So here, not much going on here across Northwest Arkansas outside of some stratiform rain. I'm going to continue to put my show together, but I'm going to talk through as best as I can. I'm going to leave it on Mega Doppler, but I'm going to put it in motion. That'll kind of help with the orientation of what's going on. So that way you can see how those storms are trying to backbuild into portions of Northwest Arkansas. Again, not strong, but when I say backbuild, I mean the storms are pushing off to the south, but they have little areas that stretch back up north, and you can see that happen across western Benton County over the last hour or so, as well as Washington County. And that's why those sporadic lightning strikes are still possible. Again, strongest cell as of right now continues to be southern Adair County, pushing into portions of Sequoia County here pretty quickly. Tahlequah, the strongest of that portion of that storm, is just to, well off to your south now. So still seeing some light to moderate rainfall with lightning, but again, nothing severe across the area. We're thankful for that. I'm going to do one check on this before I try to build a show. Again, not seeing anything concerning, but I'm a meteorologist and I'm not going to check it, but little swirly action, but nothing reaching the ground. Storms down to the south. Again, that instability is starting to come down quite a bit, and you can see those storms are beginning to weaken. Not seeing those bright returns on radar like we saw, for instance, right here a little earlier. So that's good news. It looks like this threat is significantly winding down. I'm going to do my best. I'll simulcast up until my weather. Or I may do the show. We'll see. But for right now, looks like things are significantly calming down across the viewing area. We're thankful for that. I'm going to keep my eye on that one storm over towards Adair County and Sequoia County for right now as I continue to work on my show. But of course, I'm not going to stop talking. But for right now, good news is looks like things are finally quieting down across majority of the area. But for my show, I'm going to do a kind of a replay of the day and show you guys exactly what we were seeing happen across the viewing area, as it was pretty stormy for most of us here. I think the forecast was a little on point. So we're thankful for that, but we're also thankful that the worst of the severe weather of exactly what could have happened didn't happen. We're certainly thankful for that. Always good when you have a severe weather. Well, you want to be right, of course. If you're predicting severe weather, you want it to come through in terms of being right. But possibility was there. Did see some damaging winds. Got some damage reports. In fact, I can show you guys this since I'm working on this. You guys can see as I turn the damage reports on. I'll turn the watches off. It's not what I wanted. There we go. Local storm reports. Notice the storm reports that came flooded in once those storms got to portions of our viewing area. This is archived radar, by the way. This is the past 12 hours, so that's why it's continuing to loop. But that's certainly something we continue to watch. So I'll put you guys back on weather 2, and this is showing Mega Doppler like I wanted to, and that's because we'll keep an eye on those storms as I continue to track and build my show, and I'm also keeping one eye on the radar as well. Another radar tour here very quickly. This is something, now this is outside of our viewing area, but that was a little earlier. It has 2 minutes remaining, but that was a flash flood warning as well. Again, that cell that was over in portions of Logan, Sebastian, and Scott counties is significantly weakening as of right now. Reflectivity is beginning to drop off. Still some heavy rainfall, but it is coming down, as well as this cell over towards Sequoia County now in southern Adair. This one is continuing to try to hold on a little stronger, and you can see why. Actually see it a little more apparently now over here. I'll show you guys. I'll bring up the I'll put this on max 1 so I can bring up this arrow really quickly. Check this out. This is what we mean by boundary interactions. So you have an outflow boundary that we showed you. That was the one that pushed through most of our area. And you also have an outflow boundary from the north from additional storms activity that's pushing south. So where they meet, those cause air to get pushed upwards. And when air gets pushed upwards, as you know, that creates new thunderstorm development. So you can see why once those outflow boundaries met, give it a few scans, that thunderstorm activity begins to increase. So maybe a corridor in far western Sequoia County, maybe a corridor of additional shower and thunderstorm development over the next hour or so. That'll be something to watch as those storms continue to push off to the south. So maybe a little bit of a cell tries to get going, a stronger cell tries to get going. But for right now, everything definitely below severe limits, and it'll struggle because the environment is certainly beginning to be overworked. But I thought that was pretty cool to bring up here really quickly. I'm going to go through any comments that I may have missed a little earlier. See what we're doing here. Yep, lots of lightning. Yep. Definitely continuing to see that. I won't bring that comment up, but don't have an answer for that one. I can't say that on stream. But for the most part, you guys, these are going to be your run-of-the-mill thunderstorms, and we'll likely be able to. I always keep an eye on the radar on severe weather days. A very large strike just happened on Mount Magazine. Hopefully, we don't lose that camera to a lightning strike of all things. That storm or that camera has seen a lot. I would hate for a lightning strike to be the one thing to take it out. But again, this is the storm that I was talking about where those outflow boundaries kind of merged, causing a little bit of some rising motion. You can see kind of the orientation of that right where right where Gore is, south of Paradise Hill. But for the most part, nothing impressive, nothing rotating, nothing. Maybe some slightly elevated size of hail, maybe up to nickel-sized hail with that cell. If it was quarter-sized, if it was truly quarter-sized and it was reported, it would go severe warning. But that's how that severe thunderstorm warning came about a little earlier. We saw a mesonet site over towards. I have to show you guys this. My goodness, Mount Magazine has quite the lightning show on it. Here we'll show this here very briefly. Mount Magazine is lit up, I should say, with activity right now with lightning. Stand by and pull that up for you guys. Is this Mount Magazine? Yeah, this is Mount Magazine. Looks a little darker on the stream compared to one of the monitors we have. That could just be the monitor settings, but very big lightning bolts. Tornado potential? No. Obviously, the threat for tornadoes is near zero. We never say zero because you have to watch any boundary and cell interactions. But yeah, we're not expecting tornado potential with this. And there you see the big flash of lightning I was talking about. I wanted to show you guys that. But again, not expecting any tornadic environment with these cells whatsoever. I'll be keeping an eye on any cell interactions like we saw, as well as some of those boundary interactions firing off new storms. Just to go back through that here very quickly. Strongest storm in the viewing area is Sequoia County. Southern Adair and Sequoia County. This is where we were watching a boundary interaction take place. And that's why we always say storm threat, it's the worst storm threat, which would be tornadic potential, near zero, but never zero, just because you have to watch these very closely. And that's how that Ozark tornado, that meteorologist Josh Rugger, beast mode coverage of that. And that's because that we had a few boundaries that interacted, causing enough spin. So that's why we always monitor these. Now, I will say, looks like the hail size of this starting to uptrend a little bit in this little pocket where those outflow boundaries have kind of converged. So likely some pocket change sized hail in those higher reflectivity areas. So that's northwestern Sequoia County. So this will be Redbird Smith, south of Evening Shade, Paradise Hill, and Box. Did not know there was a city called Box in Sequoia County. Learn something new every day. But again, to answer you guys' question about tornadic potential, you can see again, just not seeing anything happen. The environment is not really conducive of that, and we're thankful for that. But again, monitoring the boundaries and activities of the cells very closely here. Now I'm going to build a forecast first. I'm going to pull you guys onto Max 2, and I have the zoomed out view of Mega Doppler so you guys can kind of keep an eye on where you guys are at as I build my show, and I'll put it into motion. That way it gives you guys a better orientation of storm motion. But notice off in the river valley north of Waldron, you see how the reflectivity has come down quite a bit. That shows me that those storms are beginning to lose their steam and kind of weaken. Now, of course, we're continuing to monitor western Sequoia County as those storms are a little stronger. In fact, that's likely, that not even likely, that's the strongest cell in the viewing area as of right now. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. Quite a ton of rainfall over towards the city of Tulsa as well. They're getting slammed, but for the most part, things are well below severe criteria for our area as of right now. Should that change, of course, we'll continue to monitor the latest. Haven't gotten any new updates for National Weather Service chat. No news is good news. So that's what we like to say here in the Weather Lab. No news is good news. And that's something we'll continue to see over the next couple of, over the next half hour or so. And it looks like they're beginning to kill off portions of their watch. Expires the severe thunderstorm watch. So that severe thunderstorm may have just expired as we speak for our friends out west. I'll put this on to Weather 2 so I can check this here really quickly because that's going to be a pretty big story. And so, yeah, it looks like they're killing off portions of the watch for northeastern Oklahoma over towards Miami. Still have portions of it going until 10 p.m., however. So if they're killing that, but not killing the other areas, unless this graphic is updated, that leads me to think that they may still think that additional development may be possible, or at least over the next, kind of hard to believe that over the next 10 minutes. But nonetheless, it goes to show that the severe thunderstorm, or I should say, likelihood is beginning to go down. So it looks like they said the concert, I believe that you mean the concert at Amethyst. Just let me know. You can comment again. Concert started at 9:30. That would make sense, by the way, because that looks like it's when the lightning began to like decrease across the area. Now I will say, don't think the rainfall is quite done yet. Some cells continue to backbuild, especially southern Fayetteville. But yeah, that would make sense. Lightning, or the show starting at 9, lightning decreasing. So that's something good. Don't worry. Gary Lewis still be getting updates about nothing. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. But again, I have a Mega Doppler up, and I'm going to go ahead and get mic'd up. That way we're ready. And I'll simulcast my forecast first and then my weatherhead. And if anything, by that point, we may just go ahead and last until the end of the show. As we can, because yeah, I want to keep an eye on that storm over to Sequoia, and I won't want to type up a new live should anything go severe. But keeping a close eye on this cell. I'll go towards the last scan. Definitely outflow dominant, undercut, but still some pocket change size hail, especially south of Evening Shade, Black Gum, over towards Redbird Smith and Box. Some smaller sized hail, Peter nickel sized hail, possible with any of those cells. Starting to see some rain creep back into the Fayetteville area as well with the latest scan. Not necessarily sure if that's reaching where Razorback Stadium would be, but that is certainly something we continue to monitor. Hopefully no lightning comes about with that, but I'll put this back into motion as I continue to work on building my show. About 8 minutes out from the start of the newscast for Forecast First. And once we do so, I will, the screen will go dark for a little bit. right before the newscast, and that's because I'll be kind of how can I say, simulcasting. That's what I say. You'll be watching the newscast as I start off with weather. So just to test that really quickly. Okay. That'll be a test. All right. So still lightning in Farmington, heavy rainfall. Anything for Decatur outside of any light to moderate rainfall and maybe a few passing lightning strikes. Severe weather threat is definitely pretty much winding down for majority of the area. Strongest cell continues to be Sequoia County, as well as pushing out of Adair County, but continues to be southern Sequoia County. That'll be the area we continue to monitor. A couple of outflow boundaries kind of collided, and that's why we saw some new additional development. That's why the lightning has kind of upticked, and that's the most, even though it's not very organized, that's the most organized storm as of right now. So that'll be something we continue to watch. Turn on the storm reports with that. I'm going to show how the watches are done for our area. Yep, makes sense. I'll go Mega Doppler first. I can go radar. And you guys are still free to comment. I do have an eye on the stream as well. So you guys are free to comment. Lots of thunder that just swept through as I was saying that right now. I'll switch this over. About 5 minutes out, Casey. Gotcha. I think so far so good. Looks like we're good. Also, the silver suit has to be studied. Okay, so stand by, guys. We are beginning to get ready for our newscast. About 5 minutes out and 4 minutes out. I just got the update. Never mind. But you guys will see me doing the newscast, and then you guys will see me give the weather. Show that watch. Kind of want to show that with radar. Let's see here. Latest comment. Still lightning in Farmington, heavy rainfall. Yep. Makes sense. That cell is sitting right over you guys. I'm going to focus in on this cell. I do want to do lightning. Yeah, I do. Go forward. Oh, Keith, is that you? Yeah, I got you. Radar closest. Lightning, 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 lightning. Show element. Okay, stand by, you guys. We are about to be live on there. Guys, I'll be weather one. Thank you.
proudly covering the Northwest Arkansas community. This is KNWA News at 10.
Well, severe weather hanging around portions of our weather coverage area, and that noisy weather could continue on throughout the night. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at 10 o'clock. I'm Casey Smith. For more on that, let's go ahead and send things over to meteorologist Davion Huggins. Davion, you know, a lot of greens, a lot of yellows, a lot of reds on the Mega Doppler behind you there. What can you kind of tell us about the latest that we see with these storms?
Yeah, Casey, we were live on stream. We're monitoring the latest conditions, of course, and we continue to see radar. But there is good news. Things have been on a downtrend as we continue to track the latest. So this is archived radar. This is the 12-hour loop, I believe, of the day so far. And you can see that outflow boundary certainly sparking off new development, a couple of pair of severe thunderstorm watches sandwiched in between Northwest Arkansas, of course. And believe it or not, we even have a gusty wind report of a tree that was uprooted across portions of Washington County. That was over towards Goshen, and that was earlier this afternoon. Now, current radar and satellite, currently Mega Doppler, I should say, showing you the strongest cell we have is actually in Sequoyah County, and it's western Sequoyah County, where a couple of outflow boundaries have merged, and that's sparking off new shower and thunderstorm development. But again, everything so far has stayed under severe limits. Briefly, we had a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Adair County. We're continuing to see lots of lightning with this cell as well as it continues to push off to the east-southeast, almost 200 strikes within the last hour. And you'll notice even towards Washington County here south of Fayetteville, still a sporadic lightning strike here or there, but I do believe that concert was allowed to go on right around 9:30. Outside of that, heavy rainfall causing flood advisories, but for the most part, things have trended down. We're live on stream, continuing to track the radar. But for now, Casey, we'll send things back over to you with the latest update in your full weather.
All right, thank you, Davion. And if you're wanting to stay up to date all the time, not wanting to wait around for that full weather forecast, we have all the latest severe weather developments over on your Weather Authority app. It's going to have location-based updates from Dan, Davion, and Josh, as well as Aleshley. But we're hoping it doesn't come to this. But if weather ever does go...
Okay, guys, we're live in the newscast right now. That's why I'm not talking much.
Through that app, just scan the QR code that you see on your screen or download it for free on the Apple app or Google Play Store. And two guys that know firsthand about the impacts of the Arkansas weather. Post Malone and Jelly Roll, their stadium tour, making a stop at Razorback Stadium, but Mother Nature having other plans on the start time. It was delayed by
so Newton County, you guys are done with storms. Yeah. Newton County looks like the storms are pretty done with you guys. Especially over towards Jasper. Maybe a couple of showers by the county line by Johnson County where you guys meet, but the severe weather threat is far over for Newton County. Again, strongest cell continues to be Sequoyah County. That's why we're zoomed in on that. Northwest Arkansas, the threat for severe weather is over. Just heavy rainfall. Storms in LaFleur County continue to fall apart, and we haven't seen any new development in LaFleur County where that outflow boundary pushed through. So that's good news. So again, severe weather threat winding down. Still have a strong storm, but for the most part, the severe weather threat is continuing to be over. You guys can comment. Let me guys know if you can still hear me and if the audio sounds good. If it sounded good in the newscast as well, you guys can comment, please, and let me know. But we're continuing to track this specific cell because it's the strongest in the coverage area as of right now. I'm going to continue to monitor and show you guys and build my show. But good news is severe weather threat significantly coming down across Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So we're good now in Newton County. Yep, you guys are good. Newton County is okay, quiet now. I expect it to be relatively quiet throughout the rest of the overnight period. As that boundary has continued to push on through. Trying to find out the best time lapse I have. Huntsville. Oh, beautiful. So stand by, you guys. I have Mega Doppler loaded. I'm currently building my show. And that's why sounds fine. Thank you for that. Sounds good. All right, so I'm building my show right now. We're live in the newscast, of course. has priority because it's live TV. But you guys are seeing Mega Doppler because that's important. I want you guys to stay updated with the radar. If you don't know how to read the radar, of course, very obvious, but if you see any yellows and reds, that's pockets of heavier rainfall. Most of that is happening in Sequoia County right now, especially western Sequoia County. Still a few passing showers across Washington County and elsewhere, but most of that is stratiform rain with occasional lightning strikes here or there.
That was Kate Michaels reporting. Our sister station in Oklahoma City also recently catching up with Senator James Lankford to get his thoughts on that housing bill. What he said about 2 weeks ago after he voted yes on that bill.
The moment I took off Mount Magazine, the biggest lightning strike of the year just struck.
Well, one local museum carrying on the American 250 celebrations into this weekend, the Shiloh Museum of Ozark History holding a block party today, but it doubled as an opportunity to explore each exhibit that features a rich history that Northwest Arkansas certainly has and has made its mark on the country's 250 years of history.
Nope. In fact, guys, the severe weather threat has wound down quite a bit. So
there were also Ozark-themed educational games for the kids. The local nonprofit is intersecting two pillars of Northwest Arkansas.
It's very good news.
Culture and biking. Rich Latin food, fashion, art, and entertainment were all on display at today's 4-day freedom.
Not expecting much outside of rainfall over towards Winslow.
Inspiration is the name
For that comment that asked.
Inspired by famous artist Frida Kahlo.
Not expecting much.
They even had a
Some
Frida
just
Kahlo lookalike
light rain,
contest.
light to moderate rain with the occasional lightning strikes. Okay, but thunder. Not expecting much. Recovering. Thank you guys for watching. Gonna keep it on for the forecast, but again, just wanted to be on with a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity moving through the region. Stand by. We're gonna come up here again really quickly.
Well, it was a battle of wits when the spelling bee rolled around back when you were in school. Who would take home all the bragging rights as the best speller? It was also a headache for many others who may not be the best spellers in the world. Hopefully, though, in this adult version of the spelling bee, no one wakes up tomorrow with a headache. We'll tell you why coming up in just a bit.
I had a bad loss in the spelling bee as a fourth grader, so those wounds have not healed. But coming up in your Pig Trail Nation report, winning season, losing season, no matter how Arkansas baseball fares in a given year, one thing is certain. There will be Razorbacks drafted in July. This year, no exception, a banner day for the Diamond Hogs, a full recap of day one's action and what to expect tomorrow when we return.
Believe it or not, Hayden, I actually did perform in spelling bees, and I was pretty good at it, but I did lose one as well. So you're not alone in that. We're continuing to track shower and thunderstorm activity move throughout our coverage area. Good news, most of it has been sub-severe, but what does the rest of the week look like? We'll be answering that here in the next couple of minutes.
You're watching KNWA News at 10 with Casey Smith and meteorologist Davion Huggins.
Closed caption. Okay, back to Mega Doppler. Yep. So, again, we're still live in the newscast. Sports block will go on, and then after another break, it'll be my turn. And then we'll end the show, and then after that, we'll be able to wrap things up because I do not see the severe weather threat lasting any longer than what's happening right now, which is good news. We're thankful for that. So, continuing to edit my new show because the show I had earlier is not acceptable for what's going on now. Let's see, Mega Doppler. But again, while you're whispering, so we're whispering because we're in between newscasts. We are in a break now, so I can talk freely. And it'll also be the sports block, so I can talk a little louder, but we're live on air. So I can't talk as loud because we share the studio with, well, the weather lab is the studio. So this is where we do our newscast. So once we're back on air, which will be in 60 seconds, I'll have to talk a little bit quieter. So forgive me for that. I apologize. But just the way the setup happens to be here. About 5 minutes. Okay, cool. So sports block will be next. Now, sports does not share the same room as the studio, so I'll be able to talk freely for about the next 5 minutes or so. So if you guys have any questions and a little noise of the whispering, you can definitely ask them now. But I apologize for that. But again, that sale in Sequoia County, heavy rain at the very least. So we'll continue to see that. It looks like it doesn't look like that sale is moving as slow as it once was, but you can certainly see the broad spin in the atmosphere as that cell continues to drift off to the south. And I say spin as in low pressure, not tornadic spin. So those storms to the south of I-40 weakening pretty significantly. In fact, severe thunderstorm, I can show you guys this. The severe thunderstorm watch that was once out west, no longer. Now, I definitely still have some flood advisories and flash flood warnings, but severe thunderstorm watches and warnings are no longer. So that's good news. But we'll get you back to Mega Doppler. So I can show you guys this radar closest. Okay, take that. Okay. Rain chances on the decrease. Any more storms for Mountain? What happened with the cell between 6 and 7? I was going to. Oh yeah. So that cell that just goes to show you when storms lack upper level support, they struggle to maintain themselves. And when they struggle to maintain themselves, they can kind of perform a little weird. But basically, updrafts can start off and die off and then respark. And that's likely what we saw happen earlier with those cells that were towards Bentonville. But we're thankful for that. Definitely did have a good rain across portions of Benton County, especially earlier this afternoon. Looks like that boundary continues to drift off to the south. So we're not necessarily concerned for that area anymore, thankfully. And we have about another 2 minutes. Yep, 2 minutes until I'll be live on air. So I'll be able to talk freely again for another 2 minutes. And then, of course, it'll be back to you guys, or back to the newscast, I should say. Forgive me. Simulcast, or doing two things simultaneously right now. Casey, do we have chat?
We do.
All right. I think Michaela was asking. 90 seconds out. Alrighty. Show this. What about the rest of the week? Getting my show in order. All right, let's do this. All right. About 30 seconds out. So stand by here. We're going to put you guys in PCR mode so you guys can see the newscast and the weather forecast.
Use. Cool.
Your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Davion Huggins, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We had absolute showers and thunderstorms across the area. Check out how beautiful the day started, or at least the end of the morning time frame. This is 11 o'clock at our Huntsville Middle School WeatherBug Network camera, and then watch what happens. We shift things over to the south, and you can see lots of shower and thunderstorm activity covering the camera. And of course, the same could be said true for many other locations across Northwest Arkansas. It's quite a nice sunset on that time lapse as well. Mount Magazine lit up with lightning activity within the past 30 minutes to an hour or so. Has started to decrease because those storms that are pushing off to the south are beginning to weaken quite a bit, and we are certainly thankful for that. All the severe thunderstorm watches were allowed to drop off here across the area, and you can bet why. That outflow boundary has pushed through majority of the region, so temperatures within the last hour all the way down into the low to mid 70s across portions of the board. Check out the River Valley. We have temperatures in Clarksville at 74 degrees. 3-4 hours ago, those temperatures were reading 97 and 98 degrees respectively. So it's been quite a difference in our temperatures due to the shower and thunderstorm activity. Now, speaking of that, Mega Doppler right now continuing to show that we do have stratiform rain across most of Northwest Arkansas. A couple of pockets of heavier rainfall on Howell Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. Strongest cell continues to remain western Sequoia County, where a couple of outflow boundaries have met up, causing some of those air parcels to rise up and form new shower and thunderstorm activity. And then further to the south, we're continuing to see that. We're going to switch things over to radar here really quickly, showing you the lightning that is with some of these storms. You have a hot and humid air mass that was in place earlier. Lightning is almost a given. And of course, lightning was certainly causing problems here across Washington County, where the concert was delayed quite a bit. That concert is supposed to start at 7. I believe they let people back in and started right around 9:30. So quite a bit of delay for the concert, but thankfully things are beginning to calm down, although there is still a few passing showers and a sporadic lightning strike in and around the area. Now, earlier, heavy axis of rain set up, causing flash flooding, and that flash flood warning across Washington County will expire over the next 20 or so minutes, about 10:45. But there are flood advisories elsewhere, and that's because we've seen a lot of rainfall over the past 8 to 12 hours. You can see total precipitation across portions of Washington County right around just shy of 3 inches. Check out northern Madison County, where some of those stronger thunderstorms developed a little earlier this afternoon and sat right over them, picking up estimations about 3.5 inches right over to the east of Huntsville. And for the River Valley, it is still raining, but not as much rain as we got in correlation to Northwest Arkansas, but you can see about 2.5 inches for portions of them as well. So again, lots of heavy rainfall. We mentioned the scattered flash flooding that continued to be a possibility. We also nowcasted a lot with updates on the app because models, well, they just did not handle this system well at all. It took a lot of meteorological thinking to see exactly what was going to happen. It was a game of outflow boundaries and frontal boundaries over our area as we continue to track the latest. Now, the general idea, as we continue to lose that daytime heating, those storms will continue to weaken. We're already starting to see that. And as we go throughout the overnight period, maybe some lingering showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two, but I think for the most part, we'll begin to quiet things down. And as we head towards tomorrow afternoon, maybe a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly along and south of Interstate 40, any pop-up activity, but not expecting any of that to be severe. In fact, we were cropped out of the marginal risk that we once had a little earlier this afternoon. Those temperatures over the next, or those 2-day forecast timeline, I should say, rain chances again continuing to drop off drastically across Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley as we go throughout the next couple of hours and then of course into the overnight period. So overnight temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s. A few may linger to sunrise in terms of those thunderstorms, but for the most part, things will begin to quiet down, and then high temperatures tomorrow back into the lower 90s if those clouds clear up in time. But for the most part, should be a pretty tame start to our work week, Casey. Those temperatures right around the 90-degree mark over the next several days, and then you have those isolated chances for showers and storms on our Monday and Tuesday. A little bit of a better focus for rain possibly on Wednesday afternoon, but after that, we'll gradually dry out, and then it looks like another heat wave will be likely. KC temperatures mid-90s for Northwest Arkansas. Slightly less chances for rain on our Wednesday afternoon in the River Valley of this upcoming week. But look at those temperatures by the end of the next weekend. Yeah, we're talking about those temperatures right around the 100-degree mark for the River Valley.
Yeah, a lot of those pitchers for Arkansas throwing the heat in the triple digits, but not liking that on the 7-day. I feel like a lot of people though. Talking about kind of the Jelly Roll and Post Malone concert, since that's the only thing we can really talk about this weekend, right? It seems to be. I always get taken back to Prince performing the halftime show in the rain.
Nice.
Nothing will beat that.
Yeah, no, absolutely nothing will beat that whatsoever. I'm not sure. I don't know if there was lightning strikes during that performance.
No.
At least not from Mother Nature. Definitely from him, though. But thankfully, that lightning cleared off, and we were able to see the concert goers have a good time.
Best part about that game, the result too, the Indianapolis Colts, after beating the Patriots,
I knew it was coming.
I
wasn't going to mention
winning that Super Bowl, and it was real heartwarming for me, at least all the way back in 2007. And it was also heartwarming out of the natural state today, where one police department is teaching everything there is to know about law enforcement to their newest cadets with special needs. That story coming up after the break.
All right, guys. Well, that's a live look at the 7-day. Didn't mean to bring that up, but we'll switch things over to Mega Doppler here. We are back in a little bit of a break, short break by about 2 minutes, and then we'll end off the newscast. And then once we do, we'll end off the live stream. But again, to reiterate, there has been a few pockets of moderate rainfall developing across Northwest Arkansas. But again, these are not expected to be severe. In fact, I think our severe threat is quite limited, if not done, for Northwest Arkansas. Continuing to keep an eye on the storm in Sequoyah County, but again, it's below severe limits. It has been and never post up to severe limits, although it did briefly strengthen. And in the storms further south in the River Valley, you can see we mentioned how those are decreasing in strength and activity, and that continues to be the case over Scott County. Logan County, or not Logan County, forgive me, LaFleur County. Getting my L's mixed up. LaFleur County, you guys have actually surprisingly remained quiet, the quietest county throughout the day for these storms. Of course, it's quiet across Carroll, Boone, Newton counties now, but you guys certainly saw your fair share of activity a little earlier this afternoon. But again, we're thankful for that. Severe weather threat is definitely diminishing. You saw those temperatures in the newscast well below what you would typically see if you were supporting severe criteria. I have some iDrive Arkansas cameras pulled up in the background. A very, very big lightning strike on one of them over towards Chester. That would be in portions of Crawford County. But yeah, that's well out to our south. Do have a report of a crash near West Fork, and this will be mile marker 53. This is Washington County. This is going to be on northbound on the right shoulder. So if you know anyone that's traveling, I do have a view of this. Let's see if I can bring this up really quickly for you guys. Stand by here very, very briefly. Okay, so you see this? Oh, never mind. Sorry. Okay, we're back in the newscast. Bring your attention to this.
I'll think about spelling that after a few drinks. Dozens were doing just that.
So again, this is northbound, mile marker 53. Crash was reported. Of course, we have wet roads from showers and storms. Not saying that was the cause of this, but again, just make sure you guys are taking it easy on the roadways as we continue to see these showers move through the rest of this evening, especially as people get let out from the concerts. Likely going to see lots of traffic. Just make sure you guys are being patient, taking it easy. It is still raining out there. So don't want to be speeding and hydroplaning, especially with some of those puddles that may have pooled on sides of roads, especially in poor drainage areas and low-lying areas near creeks and streams. Still have that flash flood threat that lasts all the way through the morning until the rainfall stops. So again, just make sure you're keeping that easy. Wanted to bring that to your attention. I can show you guys the information. This is, again, West Fork. This is West Fork. It's mile marker 53.7. So northbound on the right shoulder. That's where that would be. Wanted to bring that to you guys' attention very quickly. About Mega Doppler, I'm going to guess 33 seconds again. A little game we play. Yeah, we are. Say like 49. Wow. Okay. We're in a break, and of course, we're about to wrap up the newscast here with the final block. Going to go through Mega Doppler and then show the 7-day forecast. Once we get out of this stormy pattern overnight, be a pretty tame and seasonable start to the work week. And then those temperatures, maybe a slightly better chance of rainfall, especially Northwest Arkansas on Wednesday afternoon of next week. And then after that, we'll gradually dry out. And as of right now, it looks like we're going to start a pretty stout warming trend as we head towards the end of next week. But for now, of course, we're continuing to track storms. Thank you, our live easy setup anyway. Glad to be. Nice. Do you know how long that concert was supposed to last?
So we were just told we remind our director of ketchup and mustard. So we got ourselves a hot dog of a situation here with all the active weather on our Mega Doppler.
Yeah, thankfully, a lot of these storms, one pulsed up to severe criteria. That was Adair County, but it was very short-lived. It was actually as the storm was collapsing that we saw those winds. You can see radar right now. Storms are on the downtrend. Still some pockets of light to moderate rainfall across the area, sporadic lightning, but for the most part, things are beginning to quiet down, and that will continue to be the case throughout the overnight period and throughout tomorrow. So lingering showers can't be ruled out, but as we head towards the start of the work week, temperatures right around seasonable, and then a midweek system may try to threaten us. But after that, get ready for a pretty stout heat wave on the way. Mid-90s for Northwest Arkansas, upper 90s and near 100 degrees by the end of next week for the River Valley.
You think you could probably roast a hot dog on the sidewalk?
Probably.
Degrees?
Or on a car.
Certainly. Have a great night, everybody.
Well, guys, that was a live look at the newscast. Severe criteria is definitely waning. We've already seen all the warnings expire a long time ago. Thankful for that. I do have to sneeze here, so excuse me very briefly. You see the 7-day for the River Valley. We'll show Northwest Arkansas here too. Always cool to show this on the stream. Isolated storm chances from now through Tuesday. Slightly better chance for rain on Wednesday, but I don't think it's going to be a widespread washout by no means throughout any portion of this week. As of right now, it looks. And then we're certainly going to see that heat wave on the way across the end of next week. But that's a live stream for the severe weather threat that we had. Of course, the threat has now diminished. I'll give you guys one last look at Mega Doppler here, just so you guys can see. I'll do one more radar tour, and I'll pause the loop. Latest scan. So again, some stratiform rain across Washington County. Benton County, you guys are mostly quiet. Maybe a lightning strike here or there across Washington County, a few rumbles of thunder, but again, nothing problematic whatsoever. That remains true for Adair County as well. The heaviest rainfall has pushed south into Sequoia County and northern LaFleur County. If it holds together, that could try to impact you guys. But for the most part, looks like the severe weather criteria is beginning to quiet down. Still some pockets of heavier rainfall very close to the radar over towards the Fort Smith region, and that would be for the Crawford and Sebastian county lines, I should say. Franklin County, Johnson County, a couple of light showers, but not much going on. That remains true for Logan and Scott County as well. But if you live in our northeastern coverage area, so that's Boone, Newton, Carroll, and especially Madison County, you guys are relatively quiet, except for a little bit of a shower over towards western Madison. But again, severe weather threat looks to be dropping off and over as the atmosphere is pretty sapped. Not even seeing those severe storms out west, even though they still do have a little bit more lightning with them. But for our area, it looks like things will continue to quiet down. And I certainly appreciate all of you guys for tuning in as I track those storms and continue to do the live stream. I appreciate all of our viewers. Of course, I'm glad you guys were able to keep it here with your Weather Authority team for all the latest details. Continue to do so. It looks like, again, as we head towards tomorrow, isolated shower may be possible, especially along and south of I-40, but again, can't be ruled out everywhere. But I think temperatures will be right around seasonable, if not slightly cooler, with some lingering cloud cover as well. And then as we head towards the middle portions of the week, Wednesday specifically, maybe a slightly better chance of rainfall. We'll continue to monitor the latest model trends. Things have been kind of a little back and forth in terms of the forecasting and the models. And then as we head towards the end of next week, I do think we'll dry out. And you're certainly going to want to be by a pool as those temperatures climb very high and near upstairs. So that's going to be the live stream, guys. Again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a great and safe rest of your weekend. And of course, I'll be back here tomorrow on KNWA at 5, as well as Fox 24 at 9, and then KNWA again at 10 p.m. tomorrow evening with the latest details on the forecast for the upcoming week. Have a good night, everybody. And I appreciate you guys for watching. And let's give you guys a good outro. Let's see if I have a good outro for us here. Bear with me and stand by here. Gotta find them. I don't even know if I have them. If not, we'll just say goodnight. A+. Thanks so much. Hey, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I really do. Again, make sure you guys have a safe and great rest of your weekend. I know Mother Nature tried to steal both weekends from us, but again, we're just glad that the severe weather criteria didn't necessarily pan out. But for now, I appreciate you guys and have a great rest of your night.